now the member for Calgary Foothills.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Like you watch out for everyone here in the House. Every day, today and every day, my parents watch me from above and bless me every day. Thank you. Today, I have the honor to raise and respond to the throne speech on behalf of entire Wild Rose Calgary caucus. So after 3 attempts at running for this office, I finally can raise and give my maiden speech. I would like to first thank my constituents who voted me as their 904th MLA to this 29th legislature. I thank you for your confidence in me to represent your interests the best possible way I can. I would like to thank the members of Wild Rose who nominated me as their candidate. I'd also like to thank all my volunteers, donors, and friends for their continued help and encouragement, without which I wouldn't have run 3 times. So I would like to thank the previous MLAs of my riding for their service to the people. One of the MLAs I have to extend special thanks to is MLA 830. If it were not for his abrupt service to the people through his departure, I would not have arrived here that soon. So, last but not least, thank you to my wife Santi and our son Himanish for their unwavering support to me. I love them both so very much till my last breath. Since being elected, I have had the opportunity to attend many different community events, such as multicultural event called One World and several Chinese New Year festivals, and a couple of family skating parties organized by the community associations in my riding. I also attended Holi, the Festival of Colors, and a Muslim-Christian interfaith family gathering. I look forward to celebrate the world's greatest outdoor show on the earth, the Calgary Stampede, as first time as a MLA. I'm also proud now to represent the schools that my son went to as a child. Those schools gave him a world-class education, and I am beyond thankful for the time and effort teachers put into helping our future generations. My son was the reason we moved to Canada. My wife and I wanted him to have the best education possible in Calgary, the best city in the world. Ironically, he cheers for the Oilers. Well, I'm trying to make up by wearing Calgary tartan tie a day before. Actually, tomorrow is the celebration, but I'm wearing it today to make up for my son cheering for Oilers. So. Calgary Foothills is a very diverse riding. It's filled with old and new Canadians such as myself. It's filled with people of many different faiths, backgrounds, and with many different cultures. I want to know more about everyone in my riding through meeting every single one of my constituents. My goal is to knock on every door in the riding several times before the next election, and in the process, maybe I can lose some of the weight I gained as a MLA. I cannot do my job as a representative of the people unless I meet and listen to them on a regular basis. I have some big shoes to fill when comparing myself to the past MLAs of Calgary Foothills. Constituents from my riding have had the benefit of being represented in the past by former premiers Ernest Manning, William Aberhart, and Jim Prentice. Although I cannot promise I live up to their fame or infamy, depending on your opinions, I can promise I will represent the people of Calgary Foothills the best possible way. Of course, I'm not the first MLA here to raise and give the maiden speech in the House, but reading my predecessors' speeches has taught me valuable information about the area I represent. In 1975, before this area was the city of Calgary, MLA Kidd talked about the vast lands filled with trees, creeks, and agricultural land. The riding used to stretch all the way to the BC border. But since the Calgary has grown up by leaps and bounds in the last 40 years, the riding has shrunk to a small portion of the size it used to be. Today, I now have the opportunity to interact with my constituents on a much more regular basis. Living in such close proximity to those I represent allows me to understand their needs and issues better since I am their neighbor. Issues that plague my riding and my neighbors, such as the half-built interchange that poses a safety risk to children traveling to school every day. But most importantly, people in my riding are very concerned about the economy and jobs. They know that when we have a thriving economy, we can afford the best health care, education, and seniors care. These issues and any other issue that my neighbors have will be addressed by myself in the most effective way possible. Whether this means sending letter after letter to the ministers in order to address issues or volunteering at local associations to help people on the ground, I'll help my neighbors any way I can. I'll work with all levels of government to find solutions. Helping my neighbors was something I learned from my father. He was always very helpful to the neighbors. He went out of his way, and his elder brother used to manage their joint family finances and the business, family business, which went through some difficult economic times to the point of almost poverty. Then my father took control of the family responsibilities, and he worked hard to repay every single debt and followed through by stabilizing the family finances of four of his siblings. They had a big joint family. And my father did not have higher education since there was no high school in his area. He thought education is very important to enable next generations to find well-paid jobs. He collaborated with the neighboring villages to raise funds and build a school, high school, in the middle of all the villages. And due to my father's generosity and hard work, today we have 11 doctors and 12 engineers who are his direct descendants of his bloodline. Thank you. And his generosity extended beyond the family. He would pay for priests to travel to bless the land for the whole community, along with supplying all materials for the celebrations. He even built a temple in his community as a way to give back to the community. He was a farmer, he was a small businessman, and a fiscal conservative. From his own experience, he learned that debt is expensive, and he realized that interests paid to the lenders could be used to pay for education and health care. So he said, one's hand should always be like this, not like this. That's how he lived his entire life. Now you all should understand why I ran for a party which wants to balance the budgets. So I was born late in my parents' lives. Perhaps I was an afterthought. But that meant my mom brought me up like a rare species, a cute panda. I think the term is helicopter parent today. I'm sure I caused her more trouble than I was worth. Even so, she loved me regardless. I learned persuasiveness and gentle bargaining from my mother, which helped me to succeed in my professional career in oil and gas. My parents taught me and my older siblings to share with others and to care for those who are in need and to love everyone, even your enemies. Coming from the political system in India, the opposition was seen as an enemy. For the record, I do not think the NDP are enemy. My political rivals, yes, but not my enemy. I'm very glad that I do not have to fear for my safety after I point out negatives about the government, such as bills that are a job description or a job creation program that creates no jobs. Running for office here in Canada was not the first time I was involved in electoral politics. I was tired of one-party system in India, so I campaigned for the opposition in a federal seat held by my relative. We both lived on the same street, and he was the longest-serving federal minister in India. I was only 14 then, and my parents were not too happy I campaigned against their own cousin. I heard the agriculture minister, he mentioned about one party ruling so long. I mean, that's the reason I was in politics here. I didn't like one party system either. I was elected to student union leadership positions that were fiercely contested. Active involvement in student politics was not only fun, but also shaped me into a fearless fighter. I ran my own brother's unsuccessful campaign for public office. In India, to win a seat, it's not easy or open as it is here in Alberta. You need a lot of muscle and money to win an election there. Since then, my resolve to ensure that people get representation from more than one side stayed with me. That's why I chose to run for official opposition, because I knew that for democracy to work, we need more than one opinion. We need an effective opposition to keep the government in check. So, despite the last two by-elections, I hope the members of opposite remember that your jobs will be important in 2019. So, Alberta has always had cyclical economy. We have our ups and downs, but we have always come out stronger in the end. During these tough times, Albertans are looking for hope and strong leadership. We are down, but we are not out. We are in these tough times together, but we should not be attempting risky ideological economic policies that add to the problem. I don't blame NDP for the price of world oil, but I do blame them for the decrease in business confidence due to increased taxes, royalty reviews, carbon tax, and the unpredictability of what policies they'll implement next. Luckily, there are Albertans who support our economy, who support our oil sands, and promote Alberta instead of calling us embarrassing cousins. This government should be looking towards patriotic groups like Canada Action and Oil Respect for how to properly represent Alberta. So instead, this government proposes bills that do not help Albertans get back to work. In fact, the government's first bill, the very first bill, refers to those who already have work instead of those who do not work now. It's a shame. I'm part of APEGA, and its membership is about 80,000, Mr. Speaker, and many of whom are looking for work now. My constituents are telling me their biggest concern is their family and friends need to get back to work. I have no idea who the NDP are talking to that made them decide their first bill should not be directed at those needing work. But I am here to tell this House that my constituents are very unhappy with how this government is operating. I hope that this government will listen to the opposition and help get Albertans back to work. My party created the Equalization Fairness Panel and proposed a 12-point jobs action plan. Wild Rose continued to be the only party that is strong advocate for Alberta's energy sector and pipeline projects to get the product to Tidewater. Before I conclude, I would like to quote few verses from Gita, the scripture Mahatma Gandhi used to refer to derive fresh joy and the new meanings from it every day. When you refer to chapter 3, Karma Yoga, and relate it to our contemporary politics, Mr. Speaker, it says, the parents, the school teachers, the professionals, and the political leaders are all, in general, considered to be the natural leaders of the innocent people. So all such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. So each one of us here in this House, Mr. Speaker, each and every MLA of every party, of every political stripe, are expected to perform our duties as servants of the society.
Honourable member, your time is allocated. Allow me to just say to all of the House that it's a privilege to listen and learn. We saw evidence this morning again of hearing and learning a lot about individuals. It's really quite a privilege. Under 29-2A. Member for.
I was just wondering if the honourable member would like to expand a little bit on what he was trying to say at the end there. I was quite interested in his closing comment.
Honourable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Opposition Whip. So I was saying each one of us, every MLA here in this House, being a natural leader, I was quoting Gita, and in the scripture that describes teachers and political leaders, all of us as natural leaders. And so we have the natural responsibility to our dependents to do our duty. I mean, they all expect us to perform our duties as servants of the society, as learned and matured professionals, selflessly with purity and perfection. We are expected to serve the public. As the MLA of Calgary Foothills, I promise to do my part to help Albertans and represent my constituency to the best of my ability. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.